Hello everyone and welcome back to this episode of Skipton Talks. Slightly different arrangement this time. In the short break we've had over the summer, they've stolen my sofa. I've asked for it back, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see it again next time. With me, not on the sofa, but next to me is our head of lending, Farrell-Roberts. Now, you might remember at the beginning of the year, we said to Simon, what are you expecting in your new role at Skipton? And we asked him if he would come back 6 months later and share with us his thoughts and views. So, Si, welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you coping with these chairs?
Well, listen, to be fair, I agree, Paul. Very rare that I agree with you, but I prefer the sofa.
So, you said back at the beginning of the year, the reason you came to Skipton was, and I'll get this right, our purpose, our innovation, and to work with me.
Can I come back on the last point?
How's it gone?
Really good, actually. Do you know what? I've been having a ball, apart from, obviously, your company, Paul. Innovation. Wow. I talked about innovation, given my previous role. We're always looking to Skipton to see how you're innovating. And being in the heart of the organisation, you feel it. You feel it absolutely everywhere. And I think the common purpose is everyone is aligned to innovating, to solve the problems that our customers face in terms of how.
So that's from kind of external facing BDMs to the new lending guys to the guys on the phone.
Absolutely. So permeates through the organisation, and we're always looking to solve the problems that customers face. Okay.
Purpose in terms of does why we do what we do still stack up with your expectations?
Yeah, I'd probably say a little bit more so. I think the conscience that sits within Skipton, right from the colleagues through to the leaders and the enabling functions, is all about enabling home ownership, particularly first-time buyers, and that resonated with me, and it resonates even stronger today.
Okay, all right. So this is primarily for a broker audience, and I'll read back to you what you said brokers could expect from you in the role. So common sense, accessibility, tech-enabled, and getting to a yes as quickly as possible. So how do you think that's gone?
So I'd say all of those things sit right at the heart of our plan in home lending. So I recognise we act on behalf of the brokers. They trust us with their clients, and certainty of decision, getting to yes or to the right outcome for the customer and the society is right at the heart of all that we do. We do that through prosecuting all the processes. That's one of the things I've done most in the first 6 months or since the last time we spoke, is literally looking at every process through the eyes of a broker or a customer and seeing what the enablement is and what the blockers are, and thinking about, is tech a solution to be able to get us to certainty quicker? And we've seen that through automation of minimum submission. We've launched Copilot for our colleagues so they can get access to decisions or tools to help them get to decision quicker. In addition to that, we launch valuations on new builds next week as well, or desktop valuations on new builds. So the whole raft of things that we did brilliantly, and we're thinking of how does tech enable us to get to certainty quicker.
But I guess it's not all been plain sailing, and I imagine there'll be some challenges as well.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. I mean, cracky, I've got a list, but that's the best part of the job, isn't it? The challenges are for us to solve for, and to think about how do we enable and how do we get round the challenges in the most simple and effective way. I think the biggest challenge is there's so much to do. There's so much we want to do, but it's easy to see that we can get there. It's going to take us probably just a little bit of time to do it in the right order and do it in a safe way.
Okay. And I think an indication of progress is, from my perspective, is broker satisfaction and how many times a broker will come back for repeat business. And if I can look at kind of through an external lens, from my perspective, particularly for 2025, broker satisfaction and support has been an absolute priority from my point of view. And I'm delighted to see, both from an internal perspective, internal measure, but also from some of the external measures we use, our broker satisfaction has continued to improve, which is absolutely fantastic, and hopefully that'll continue in the second half of the year. And, you know, in no small measure to the effort and contribution you and your team have made with, you know, making some of those common sense decisions and understanding how you can get to a yes quicker. But additionally, I think an understanding of the proposition, confidence and familiarity in what we do is also an important measure. So that translates into how many times will an advisor place business with Skipton, and that's one of the things we've been trying to understand better this year. And again, I'm absolutely delighted that the amount of repeat business we've been getting has improved from a BDM perspective, because that's absolutely what I've been asking them to focus on for this year. And keeping with the external lens, so looking forward from your point of view, because we do the easy job, right? We go out, we have great conversations with brokers, we kind of talk about all the great things Skipton can do for them, but your guys have got to make the difficult decisions. So we want to continue to make sure we're easy to do business with. So what does good look like for your team, and why?
So for me, we want to grow the business. We want to help more customers. We want to get more customers into their home, and we want to give brokers and clients the certainty of decision. And we want to do that at the earliest possible point. Yeah. So my team are relentlessly focused on getting to the customer case as quickly as we can, connecting with the broker always. So the call to the broker is something that is unique. Yeah. You know, we make that call every time we can, or at least communicate with the broker via email in terms of what we need to get to yes on behalf of the client. It delights me every time. Most days I pick something up on LinkedIn from a broker who is complimenting common sense lending, common sense decisions. Just a couple of days ago, a broker shouted out, you know, day one offer, where it was a self-employed first-time buyer. Now, that sounds complex, but the conversation we had and the quality of the packaging of the case just means we can get to yes quicker. The future has to be about using more tech enablement, so thinking about automated income, thinking about automated valuations. Those coupled together with great packaging, you know, great sentiment from the broker gets us there even quicker. The skill and capability of our team for consistency of decisions is really important, but no case is ever the same. No customer circumstance is ever the same. And I think what also stands us out, Paul, is look, we do look at cases that don't fit the, you know, computer says yes, computer says no. Yeah. And I talked in the last session around, you know, the senior underwriting specialists who make themselves available regularly to BDMs where they've got a case that sits outside of, you know, normal policy. And 50-60% of those cases turn into a yes decision. Yeah. So far this year, you know, it's 1,200 of those. That's a lot. And
that's 1,200 customers who potentially may not have, or may have thought that they might not be able to get home ownership, but they have.
Absolutely. And it's similarly on the decision in principle. You know, those customers who don't fall into automatic yes and automatic unfortunately not, those 15% of all the dips come to my team to kind of look at and, you know, make a common sense decision to say, do you know what, we think we can help this customer. Let's get it to full application. But always more to do.
No, absolutely. And I guess further to my point before about some of the challenges, I guess as we look to innovate, as we look to improve processing time, I guess we'll come up against some challenges and some blockers in the road.
One of the things I'm really focused on is how many times do we need to touch a case? How many times do we need to, you know, action a piece of post to get to a decision? And the more that we can move that to the front of the journey, the more certainty to the broker and to the client that we can give, and, you know, can get them the keys to the house much quicker. I mean, one of the big highlights for me, Paul, has to be the team rallying through stamp duty. You know, in March this year, across a 6-week period, we enabled, you know, a phenomenal amount of customers to get into the homes, and to a tune of about 1.2 billion over 6 weeks. You know, and that was done quite seamlessly. There's a lot of planning went into that, and, you know, we were able to deliver a promise that you know, if the cot came into us by a certain date. So Yeah, we've done a lot. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying the vision of where I see we can get to.
And how are the guys on the floor? So how are the underwriters managing or coping with some of the changes that you've brought in since the...
Do you mean how they're coping with me? I think the team are responding really well. We've centred customer and broker right at the heart of everything that we do. So pillar one on our plan this year is all about being obsessed about the customer. And that all weaves into, getting to yes quicker and getting to the right outcome quicker. Certainly brought a bit of pace to the team, and they can see the vision, and they're excited about getting to that place. But naturally, it's enacting change, and we all enjoy a bit of change, don't we, Paul?
And what will be interesting is if we were to, at some point, and in the not too distant future, hear from one of your underwriters. So I think George is going to come and join us, come and join you shortly, and to have a chat with you as well. So hopefully he'll share some of his real observations.
I'm sure he will.
The changes this year.
I'm sure he will.
I got one more question, and that's about looking forward into 2026. So what are you excited about as we kind of get into quarter 4 and finish this year, but really what's exciting you about 2026?
Yeah, so I guess for me, my head's already in 26. So the customer business we're starting to support today, reality is they're going to be completing towards the end of this year or the start of next, and clearly we want to continue to grow. We've innovated again this year in terms of product and proposition. So delayed start was grew into something fantastic, and has probably surprised us really in terms of the volumes that product and propositions delivered. I guess for me, what I'm really excited about is delivering the plan. Right. Listening to brokers, listening to the team, and taking the feedback from the team to fix the areas of the business that are going to get us to the vision that we share, but celebrating success along the way. The team have, as you would expect, worked really hard this year, faced a lot of challenges, but they continue to smile and continue to deliver great outcomes for customers, and I see it every single day. Single day, and George will bring some of that to life.
Okay, and if it's important to the customer and by association to the broker, then that's absolutely where we'll continue to focus our attention. In terms of process, in terms of product, in terms of making sure the proposition is relevant to those who want to own.
Yeah, absolutely. And key part to that is the brokers continuing to engage with us and talking to us about how can we be better, and the feedback we see, puts a smile on my face all of the time. So broadly, we get it right a lot of the time. Good.
And on that happy note, we'll call this to a close. So thank you very much for taking time to watch this episode of Skipton Talks. Thank you.
So Paul and I have just been having a conversation, and we thought, what better approach to take than to bring one of our brilliant underwriters into conversation. So firstly, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, and yourself?
Yeah, really good. I'm really interested. How does it feel working in home lending?
It's really, really good. I really enjoy it. I think what we're doing at the minute in terms of sort of bringing to the forefront the best we can do for the customers and best for the brokers. It's clear our culture at the minute is customer obsession and to get to that yes decision as quick as possible. And some of the stuff we're doing from the innovation side of things is fantastic as well. So it's a really exciting time to be working for mortgage lending. I'm thrilled to be part of the journey.
Good, it's good to have you. So you touched there on customer obsession,
and
obviously that's pillar 1 for us this year, isn't it? So you've done a load of work on customer obsession. So just bring that to life for me. What does it mean for you?
It's the reason we're here. From a lender's perspective, we're here to say yes as many times as we can and bring those sort of customers' dreams to life in terms of getting them in their own home. And being completely customer obsessed is the main part of that. So, like I say, if we can say yes to as many customers, that's perfect from our end. So that is looking at situations where potentially our policy or other lenders might say, no, this doesn't quite fit, but looking at it as a whole and really sort of striving to to say yes to that customer and get them in that hole.
Good. So in terms of brokers then, where do they sit in that journey? So obviously we're customer obsessed, but in order to be customer obsessed, we need to think about our brokers who give us our business.
Absolutely, and got to be broker obsessed as well as customer obsessed. But yeah, to get to that position, the brokers are vitally important. They're the ones that are the experts for the customers, and they're also sort of are in between us and the customers directly. So they can really help us and help the customer get to that yes decision. So we'll have plenty of queries, questions to ask in many different circumstances. So it's been as clear, and sometimes even just a phone call with those clears up so much compared to your standard back and forth over emails that other lenders might tend to do. So it's really important. They're incredibly important to get us to that yes decision, and they're sort of with us holding our hand and the customer's hand to get to that yes.
And I know you love the phone call with the broker, don't you? So just tell me a little bit about why that's really important.
I think the main reason for the phone calls, or the best part of the phone calls, is you can get so much more out of it than you can with an email. You can sit down to speak with the broker and just explain, look, what's going on with this case. You can get a sense of the background behind the numbers, behind everything like that. You can get to know more about the customer, their specific circumstances, and again, not every case is the same. They're all different. Every customer's different, and understanding the situation is the first part before being able to say yes in that situation. So
you touched on common sense underwriting. Not every customer is the same, and sometimes circumstances are a bit more complex. So just talk to me about how do you get to yes in those scenarios, or get to the right outcome?
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we start a position where we want to say yes, and always try and say yes. At the end of the day, it's not always the right thing to do so, but I think being in that position to be able to fully understand the situation and the circumstances of each customer, to then be able to make that decision is very important. So if that's a no decision, it's explaining why. More importantly, if we're at the yes, that happy customer, happy broker, happy lender. But yeah, it's vitally important in terms of, being fully customer obsessed, and really sort of making that decision for the customer ultimately. But it's
okay, good. And in terms of, if there was two things that you wanted from brokers to enable you to make those great lending decisions, what would your two asks be?
Yeah, I mean, the first one's just being open and honest with us. So, I mean, if we're asking a question, going into as much detail as you can about the circumstances. So, policy's not black and white. There's a lot of grey areas. Help us say yes. Give us as much reasoning to be able to say yes as you possibly can, and work with us in terms of giving us that information in as much detail as you can, so we can rationale it and make those decisions. And then another one would be, be willing to pick up the phone and talk to us. I really appreciate speaking to a broker. You get to know them, the customer, and the circumstances so much better than an email. And
awesome. Thank you, George. Thank you for coming and have a conversation with us today.
I appreciate that. Thank you.